Welcome to today's episode. Today I am here with Michelle Purta. Michelle is a marriage coach for mums. She is a married mum of two boys and a daughter or soon to be daughter. And she helps mums to be happy again in their marriage. She works one-on-ones with mums to empower them to have the marriage they want without having to resort to nagging or waiting for their husband to change in order to get what they want and need to be happy. She guides them through perspective shifts and effective communication so they can create more partnership, joy, and connection in their relationship. Hi, Michelle. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you
Um,
so much for having me.
My pleasure. And how did I do with that introduction? I'd love you to add anything or correct anything that I might have got wrong or missed.
No, you got it all right. I'm from the States in California, and the daughter's here now. She'll be 3 weeks on, what is it, this Thursday, so beginning of May. So
Oh,
we are fully in transition of having a house of two boys to having a house of two boys and a baby girl. So
wow.
it's an interesting
Congratulations.
time with quarantine.
Oh,
Thank you,
I
thank
bet.
you.
I bet it must be. Yeah, I have a 7-month-old now, so I'm finally starting to get into the swing of things with having her and my oldest son as well. So it's yeah, congratulations, so amazing. So
Thank you.
before we jump in, I always love to ask, how do you start your day? Now, this might be a little bit different because you've got such a new little baby, but I'm still going to ask.
Yeah. Yeah, no, of course. So, um, this is actually a perfect question for this time right now because before she came, I had a very, very well planned out routine for my mornings. I would wake up about an hour before my kids, and then I would, listen to a podcast or an audiobook while I fully get ready for the day. And then I would go get my breakfast started, drink my tea hot, do some journaling, and slowly ease into the day. And that was my self-care routine. And it felt amazing because as soon as the kids would wake up, I'd feel ready for them versus them being my alarm clock and then feeling really jarred to
Yeah,
start my day. Now that I have a baby and my sleep schedule is at her will,
yeah,
not under my control, I'm now trying to slowly incorporate different aspects or elements of self care throughout the day and not so much putting pressure on having it done before everyone wakes up because to be honest, I don't know if I will feel well rested enough to even go do that.
yeah.
So I'm balancing out getting enough sleep, but also giving back to myself.
Yeah, I understand that so much because that's so fresh for me as well. And my little girl's just kind of starting to sleep through now. She sometimes wakes up once at night, but yeah. So my self-care routine, which was always get up at 5, set aside that time, and I'd always mix up what I would do in the morning, but now I'm the same as you. I really find
Yeah.
sometimes I do it in the morning, not very often. Often I just scatter things throughout the day, and it's just sometimes it's just moments, but trying to commit to
Mm-hmm.
something every day. Um, so I really understand that and relate. And what compelled you to become a marriage coach for mums?
Yeah, so I kind of fell into this, but looking back, it really makes sense how I fell
Mm-hmm.
into this. So I was working corporate. I did HR for years, I think almost a decade, and then switched over to project management. And I got pregnant with my second son. So my first son is actually my stepson. So I had already accidentally fell into motherhood. And then I intentionally fell into motherhood next. And I found myself not wanting to go back to work. And so I never went back after maternity leave. And I was desperately searching for some other career that I could do from home and in hopes that it would be more fulfilling than working for someone else and having to clock in and clock out. And so after much exploration, I realized I really wanted to become a life coach, and it just made a lot of sense because of the type of person I am. I'm not a sugarcoat kind of person. I can easily spot patterns within people, and I love to empower people. So it just made sense, and I had some people kind of suggest that along the way as well. So I was like, oh, why not? Let's look into it. And so I became a life coach. I got trained, started taking on clients, and I realized that I really love to work with moms. And I found myself having a lot to say and guide when it came to the relationships, more specifically the ones with their partners. And so it just kind of unfolded that way. I love to help people with communication because I myself had to go through a journey with learning how to communicate effectively in my relationships because of what I witnessed in my parents' marriage. And I saw, looking back, just how much it affected my relationships as a whole, why certain relationships didn't work out for me, and how I grew into the person I became. And also, you know, a lot of giving yourself permission. I had to give myself a lot of permission to be a certain way or do certain things or be okay with what I wanted and needed and be willing to ask for it regardless of what other people thought. And so I love to help moms bring back their truth and give themselves permission, empower themselves to have the relationship that they want with their spouse, because things change so much after you introduce kids into the formula of things, right? It's very easy to lose yourself and lose your identity once you become a mom because of societal expectations and even expectations from your loved ones, right? And yourself. And so that is, in a nutshell, why I shifted to become a life coach for moms, specifically for their relationships.
I love that. It's so important. And I'm so big on self-care as well, and have recently been exploring like a little bit of relationship stuff, but definitely not my area sort of expertise. So I'm really excited for you to share more on that. And so what is the legacy that you are here to leave?
Yeah, so my goal is for my kids to learn through my marriage on what a healthy relationship looks like so that they can then be in healthy relationships and look for healthy relationships and know when to exit if it's not one that fulfills what they envision as a successful relationship, and not stay in something too long because they think that, oh, it's just supposed to be this way, but rather know what works, know what kind of work needs to be put in to have a strong relationship, know that they have to continue nurturing it over time. You can't just forget about it. And do that by working on my own marriage and enjoying it through me doing the work as well, right? Not just doing what most moms do, is thinking, oh, once the kids are older, then I'll go back to working on my marriage. Or once the kids get older, then I'll enjoy my husband again. But rather, no, we get to enjoy it now and every day. And us doing the work on a daily basis is for the kids' benefit, because we are the reason why they exist, right? It's our love that created this family unit, and it is our love that will continue to provide that foundation for them and that example for them to look back on when they go out and look for their future partner.
Definitely.
And yeah.
Or are you going to say something else?
Yeah, and the impact that it has for them to be able to do that, like as they interact with other people, my hopes is that they will show other people, whether it's their friends or, you know, their future partners or future former partners, of what respect looks like, what fulfillment looks like, what joy looks like, and what self-care looks like, and self-love. So that is the legacy that I want is to have a ripple effect of doing the work on myself, which then translates to seeing it come to fruition through my children and anyone else that is within our circle.
Amazing. Yeah, I feel like that too. I just feel so strongly that everything I'm doing, my kids are witnessing, and it's an opportunity for them to really pave the way for the future and for their kids, and teaching them that they can do anything and anything's possible for them.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so talk to me about self-care and why it's so important for relationships.
Yeah. So how we show up to life in our relationships really stems from our relationship with ourselves. If that is not strong, then it will bleed into all other areas of your life. You will start to be closed off to potential opportunities to receive love. You will be closed off to opportunities that you may have available to you in general, just anything positive. You might be closed off because you're so in lack of self care and self love, right? You may start to blame other people for how you feel, but really the key is learning to love yourself, to know yourself, have that level of self awareness, having that level of reflective introspection to see how everything is really an opportunity for growth. And when you don't take care of yourself, you're essentially making it someone else's responsibility for your happiness. But really, it is our own individual responsibility to make sure that we are happy by making the choices that align with what we want out of life, right? So when we don't practice self care, especially as a mom, we can easily get very, very drained in all areas of our life, like mentally, emotionally, physically. And when you are showing up to life with essentially your worst version of yourself, that can deeply impact your relationships because you're not that empowered, happy, fulfilled person that gives to other people, right? Essentially, you're this shell of a person that can easily get frustrated or easily feel resentful and easily get to the point where you feel like you're not getting your needs taken care of by other people. And really, it's yourself that needs to be giving that to yourself, right? So I find it to be my responsibility to do what I need to do to be the best version of myself so that I can be giving the better part of me to other people and myself, right? It's just more fulfilling for you. It's more fulfilling for other people. I mean, who wants a wife who's just so tired all the time and nags all the time and is unhappy and negative? No one. I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't want to be that version of yourself either. So nobody wins in that situation. Whereas when you practice self care and you give back to yourself and you feel like you could take on anything, everybody wants to be around you because you add to their life, you don't take away. And I mean, that's a win win situation right there. So why would you not do that? Why would you not take the time to do it? And I think it's really important to know that it's not about how much time you do or don't have, it's about making time for it. It's about taking a look at what's going on in your life and seeing what's adding to your life and what's taking away from your life and what you can do away with. Can you do things differently? Can you like be more efficient in a task? Can you delegate it to someone else? Can you ask for help? Can you decide, I don't want to do that anymore because I don't want to, instead of comparing yourself to society's expectations of what you should do or shouldn't do as a mom or a woman or a partner, and make decisions for your greater good rather than meeting some expectation that someone else set for you. I think that's really important to be like, well, self-care is really important to me. It's a non-negotiable. So this is what I'm going to do, and just do it, because everyone will gain from that
Yeah,
easily.
definitely. I totally agree. And how did you discover the benefits of self-care in your own relationships, for your own relationships?
Yeah. So I that this became very evident for me um, through the two different transitions of becoming a mom, right? First, becoming a stepmom, and looking back, I didn't realize I imposed so many expectations on myself. I
Mm,
just kind of naturally did it. Oh, I'm a mother figure now. Therefore, I must stop doing these things and I must do these things. And I found myself feeling really unhappy, even though if you were to ask me if I felt happy, I would have told you yes, right? But I snapped really easily.
mm,
I was irritated all the time and stressed out. And I found myself giving up parts of myself because I felt like I needed to be there um, to be a good role model. And I realized that because I felt so bad most days, I needed to do something different. I needed to do something for myself. And then came phase two when my son was born. So he's 4 later this year.
mhm,
I realized that my husband and I started fighting more often because we weren't connecting and because I wasn't taking care of myself. I mean, I got to the point where I wasn't even brushing my hair every day and I didn't even care how I looked anymore. And like, I just did everything revolved around him. What time did he need to sleep? What time did he need to eat? What time do I need to go do something for him? Um, and I essentially lost myself in motherhood. And because of that, I, didn't put the time in to nurture friendships. I just was so, I had tunnel vision. That's what it is. I had tunnel vision with my son. And only once did I realize, like, what am I doing? Right? Why am I suddenly fighting with my husband all of the time when before we weren't? Only once did I see how things changed did I realize something needed to change, right? Like, this is not the life that I want. I don't want to feel like trapped, essentially. I did not have a kid to then push away my husband. I did not have a kid to then feel miserable, you
mm,
know. And so then I had um, started reading up more about self-care because back then it wasn't so popular, which I think is amazing now that it's such a big topic that people are talking about. And I am grateful for you for having this platform to really push it because it is so critical for our well-being.
mm,
And only once did I start having the intention of taking care of myself and doing the exploratory work to see what worked for me did I start to really see change in my life. I started being happier. I started having less, episodes of feeling irritated or nagging. And I just felt more in myself and in my body. Whereas before I was just like very reactive. And it wasn't the lifestyle that I wanted. It's not what I wanted for myself. It's not what I signed up for. And so if you're listening to this and you're at that point where you feel like you're just constantly reacting, I urge you to stop and think about what you can do to incorporate one thing in your day to start and give back to yourself, even if it's for 5 minutes, and see what a difference it makes. Because for me, when I do self care, I feel like I'm putting armor on. And then when I'm done, I feel like I'm ready to take on the day like Superwoman, and it feels incredible. And as you do it and make it a routine, it's just like you just feel unstoppable. I mean, are
mm,
there times where I still get irritated? Yes. I'm not perfect. I am human still,
yeah.
but it takes me much longer to get there, much longer. And I'm just more positive because I do it.
Mm. Um, and yeah, I totally resonate with that. And did your partner like notice a shift once you started bringing self-care in? What can you talk about the shifts that occurred?
Yeah, I mean, he noticed that I was more intentional with how I communicated with him. He noticed that I was overall happier. He noticed I was more patient with the kids. I mean, it was just uh, all areas. It was, I was starting to spend time doing things I was passionate about, things that really brought me out more rather than having me crawl in and curl up like a little ball where I was, I just leave me alone, don't talk to me. I need me time. And at this point, the me time was more intentional rather than, okay, I need to shut out everything of my life and just be quiet and have it have that time to reset, but rather I would spend my time doing things that actually reset and filled me up.
Mm.
So yeah, he
Um,
noticed a huge difference.
Amazing. And what kind of practices or things would you suggest to someone who isn't doing anything right now?
Yeah, I would start out with something small. I am a huge advocate for doing things in baby steps
Me
to
too. Yeah.
have better odds of being successful. So, whatever you can incorporate that you can do easily, do that. So, I have a planner actually where I track my habits. And so, whatever I want to start doing as a routine, I will add it to there. So if your self-care looks like starting out by drinking enough water in a day, you do that.
Mm,
If your self-care looks like meditating for 1 minute a day, do that. Do whatever you need to do that makes you feel good and build on it and keep building on it.
mm,
Your self-care could look like 10 steps or it could be 1 step. The point is give that time to yourself and see how you feel. And
mm,
then keep assessing, is this enough? Is this enough? If it is, great, keep doing it. If it's not, add something else to it. If you don't know what to do, explore. There are so many different ways you can do self-care. There's not just one cookie cutter way. It could be journaling, it could be meditating, it could be exercising, it could be drinking water, it could be taking a nap. Like it literally could be anything that fills you up and helps you feel like your best self, because that's really the point, is to feel like your best self and
yeah.
only doing it for you.
Yeah, it's funny. I laughed a bit then because I always advocate for people to do things in tiny steps, and like literally
Mm-hmm.
meditating. When I hadn't meditated for ages, I literally did like 1 minute of meditation. The next day I'd add like 20 seconds, the next day 20 seconds, and I did it so
Yeah.
slowly until I was at like 30 minutes. But I couldn't have just gone straight into that far end. I
Right.
had to start basic and small, and so small steps, tiny commitments, that is my absolute favorite thing. I just think it's so beneficial to set you up for success. So I love
Yes.
that you brought that up too, because I think it can be really daunting to people when people say just jump in and like go in the deep end, and
Right.
success takes these big steps, because I don't believe that at all. I believe the opposite.
No, I mean, if you, right. And if this is something that's really important to you, you're going to do what you need to do to be successful. You're not on a timeline. It's not like you have a deadline to reach something by a certain date. This is fully for you. So if it's important for you to have a self-care routine to feel better about yourself, then take those baby steps, because progress is better than nothing, right? So do what you can and keep building on it if you want to, and either way, you'll be better off than where you were before. So do what you can.
Yeah, and it teaches you and strengthens that commitment with yourself, and you learn to show up for
Hmm.
yourself doing it that way as well.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Keeping promises to yourself is a huge
mm,
self love exercise.
yeah, definitely. Um, and so, what makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
Mm. You know, I love going on walks outside in nature.
Mhm.
That's a little bit restricted right now,
Yeah.
but I love to be present in the outdoors. Just, watching birds fly by, like just kind of like, so to speak, stopping to smell the roses, right? Um, I think that fills me up. Taking deep, filling breaths into my belly is also um, very fulfilling for me as well. Just doing anything to bring more awareness to my body, to bring more presence to myself, and not feel so on the go. Okay, what's next? When do I need to cook dinner? When do I need to go grocery shopping? What do the kids need? What time? All of that busyness that mom life can often lead us to. I think just stopping to be present in any form, whether it's journaling. Haven't quite gotten down meditation yet. Still working on that. Reading, like anything to slow me down is how I feel much more grounded and better about myself.
Yeah, it is. Do you have like one favorite self-care practice?
Oh my gosh, favorite? Probably going out on hiking trails. I would
Yeah.
say that, and I love to feel small. So when I get the chance to, I would love to go back out to a state park and just soak it in and feel small. I love being around mountains and water and just taking in, all of nature's glory. I love
Yeah,
doing that.
amazing. And what are you curious about right now?
I am curious how life will change for society because of this COVID-19 thing. I'm really loving how people are becoming more intentional with their families, with themselves, as in, exploring baking and cooking more and spending more quality time with their families. And I'm really interested to see what's going to happen when things open back up and life just becomes more, I guess, full of distractions, I should say. I want to see if people retain what they are embodying right now and see how life changes, because to me, this is wonderful. Right. And I know that there are people in different positions where it's stressful for them, and I get that. But I'm really curious to see if people will be more mindful after this forced pause, I should say.
Me too, actually. I've been really thinking about that. I'm wondering if people are going to, like, I feel like there's been some really strong messages here for slowing down and being present and stuff. And I'm really curious about whether people will panic to rush out again, and if it will go back to how it was before, if there will be significant shifts and changes in how go up out there, because I'm hopeful that there'll be some shifts and stuff, but I'm really not sure. It's so unknown. And what's your favorite book and why? I laugh because
Oh my gosh. So I have a lot of books I love. Can't say I have an absolute favorite. Brene Brown books are amazing. I really loved Daring Greatly. That is all about the power of being vulnerable and how it really requires a lot of strength rather than what you would perceive as weakness in society. Vulnerability really is the key, and I think a lot of people should lean more into that and be brave and courageous enough to look into themselves and be vulnerable with people, with the right people, right? And see how their life changes because they allow that to happen, to step down from their pride and their ego and acknowledge it, but also show up powerfully as themselves and honestly and authentically. I think that is a very powerful book that is out there, and I suggest everyone read it.
Amazing. I don't know if I've read it actually. I've read some of her other books.
Oh, you should. You would love it.
I'm gonna have to. I just read Braving the Wilderness recently. But I will. I think I may have it, so I'll definitely check on my Kindle. So many books. It's so
Yeah.
funny when I ask this question. I sometimes think I should feel like I should change it because it's such a hard question to just pick one book, but I kind of like that. And
Yeah.
who's been your most impactful teacher?
Oh my gosh. Um, I don't know. I feel like I look at everything as my teacher, myself, my kids, my husband, like literally anyone I come across, I see them as a teacher, especially those that trigger me. They are my greatest teachers. So I wouldn't say there is a specific person that has been my greatest teacher. I just try and look at everyone as my teacher.
I really love that answer. And what do you wish you'd know when you first started out?
Started out as a
Yeah, like on your journey, like coaching journey, and just kind of.
hmm, um to not let fear dictate what I do or don't do,
Mhm.
but allow myself to be me
Mm,
without feeling apologetic about it. Um, I think that's the biggest thing that a lot of entrepreneurs face is not knowing how much of themselves to put out there and feeling afraid because of something that they were told once when they were younger.
mm,
I think what I wish I knew is doing the work on myself is what will help things move along faster, and to not think that there's this magic key that I need to find in order to unlock success. I think that is the biggest thing.
yeah, definitely. And it is work. And sometimes I feel like it's not always easy to take care of yourself and do this stuff that's going to really
Mm-mm.
support you. And that can, I was going to say stop people, but I've found that there's just such a gift on the other side when you do the work, and it can be challenging, but so worth it.
Mm-hmm. It's
Um,
always worth it.
mm, and is there anything you do differently?
Mm, do differently. Um, I don't know that I would do anything differently because I worked with a coach right away
Mm,
because I saw the impact of having a coach and seeing how much faster I can get through things with a coach. So I'm not so sure I would do anything different.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I I get that. I don't know if I would either because I feel like everything is a lesson and you grow from it as well. So,
Exactly.
um,
Exactly.
yeah. Um, and if you could remove like all barriers and constraints, what would you love to be known for or work on?
Mm, I would be, let's see. So I would love to just continue helping women and moms feel empowered to be themselves, to know that they can be honest and in a way that isn't disrespectful, but rather, have the right boundaries in place and be their honest selves, not feel like they have to people please or um, be a certain way because of how other people will receive them, but know that they in themselves have the power to give themselves what they need to fulfill themselves and not seek out external validation, but know that they can validate themselves and be in the right company by honoring themselves and being okay with letting people go. So really just learning to love themselves and live authentically and have their life transformed because of that. That's what I mean. That's really what I do in relationships anyway, because I only work with the moms.
Mm.
That is what I would love to be known for.
Amazing. Yeah, so important. And I just feel, mums can so often just feel so lost and overwhelmed and stuff, and it's such a tough gig. And I think we often don't give ourselves credit for how challenging it is, and how deep it goes, and how support and self-care and stuff is so key. It saved me. It really did. So I really think about the importance of it all the time. Going from that dark place to feeling okay and being able to move forward and stuff.
Yes.
And what's the best compliment you've ever received?
I'd have to say probably from my clients. It's not a direct compliment, but in the work that we do, when they come back to me after we've finished our 6 months together and they share a win with me that they couldn't ever see themselves getting to the point of experiencing with their partners, that to me is the biggest compliment, because it was from our work together that really helped them feel capable and empowered and truly themselves, to be able to be open to receiving that experience, to be open to going through it with their partner and coming out on the other side, knowing that their partnership is stronger because they're stronger. That is the ultimate compliment for me, because I got to be a part of that. And I feel so honored that they trusted me in that journey.
Yeah, amazing. And what does elevating your life and soul mean to you?
That means going for what I want and loving myself through the process, using fear as a teacher to really go for things and not to shy away from fear, but using it as something I can lean on and learn from and honor, even though it's like the darker side of things, and know that fear is an important part of the process and that it's not all bad. It can be something that you can grow from, and it can be something that you can turn into good. And so, that's.
Yeah, amazing. And is there anything that you wish I'd asked that I haven't asked today, or that you would love to share? Final thoughts?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, I would love for you, I'm so grateful for you being here today, and I would love to share how people can connect with you and what you have on offer right now. Yeah.
So, if you are a mom who needs support in turning your relationship around and be happy again, I would love to invite you onto a call. It's a free 45-minute call where we get to explore what's going on, what obstacles you're facing right now, and uncover potential solutions so that you can have that relationship, that partnership, joy, and connection that you desire. And know that you alone can initiate the change and influence the relationship to become more positive and enjoyable, and therefore show your kids what it looks like to have a healthy relationship. I would love for you to reach out to me. I am at the website is www.michellepurta.com. Otherwise, If you want to be around me, I would love to invite you to my free Facebook community. It's called Marriage and Motherhood, and it's got a great group of women who all are striving to be more intentional in their marriage, or if you're in a serious partnership, that works as well, as moms, and what that looks like, and how to show up for yourself and therefore show up for your family in the right ways that feel good to you. But yeah, either way, I would love to meet you all and talk to you and support you however I can.
Amazing. And I will put all the details in the show notes so it's easy for people to connect with you. Thank you so much. Really
Thank
great to have you
you.
on today. And yeah, I hope you have a really amazing day.
Thank you. You too. Bye.